Is the listed range on an EV accurate? That's what we're going to be testing today on 0 to 60.
So we're going to take this MX-30 on a range test.
We then started our 106-mile round trip from Nottingham to Cannock to collect and test drive a Mazda RX-8.
Yeah, so we've probably done about 9 miles, but it's at 110, so we're doing more miles than we are the range, if that makes sense. So that's good.
So 9 miles into the journey and the range has gone down by 5.
Yes.
That's what we need today, because this will be close.
It's going to be very seat pants close.
How many miles have we got to play with?
106 in total, so we've probably got about
got
about 19-ish, haven't we?
Yeah,
we're probably about 19. So
19 miles to play with. But the test of today is, does how you drive the car make a difference? So we're going to be very economical with the driving.
I'm going to drive like a granny.
So far we've done 60 miles of the journey, only used 12 miles of range.
Applying the throttle gingerly, we've managed to obviously get about 4 miles of additional range.
Gingerly?
Yes. Gingerly.
Instead of engaging in this abuse, I actually spoke about the car.
Another warm day for us to be driving. Are we okay to put the aircon on, or are you worried about the range?
I am, because, watch this, we have 97 miles of range left. I switch it off, it goes to 99. So we are using, as you say, around 2% extra, keeping the car cool.
Oh great, so we get to sit cooking in here because the range is so poor.
That's the advantage of having an electric car. You get to sweat your nuts off, and in your case, your man boobs.
So obviously today's about checking the range. I've noticed you've been driving at 70 a lot of the way. That's using a lot of the battery. So on the way back, I'm going to need to drive at 45 miles an hour to make sure we get back.
Yes, and it'll be your fault when we run out of juice.
You're making it sound like we won't both be stood at the side of the road with an empty car battery.
But you'll be responsible for draining it.
Did you bring your charger?
No.
So I've just checked this out now. We've got 14 miles left and 75 miles of range. I don't know if we're on track, you know.
It's going to be very close.
Squeaky bum time when we get back close to yours.
No aircon, obviously. So we're going to be sweaty. Your boobs are going to have some serious sweatage.
I don't know why you keep mentioning my boobs, because you've got little man titties at the moment. You know you've put on weight. You know you've not been at the gym back long enough.
I've only been there 5 times, and obviously I'm not Arnie Schwarzenegger at the moment, but the jiggle when you run down the stairs has definitely got better.
The jiggle.
But then with just a few miles left of our outward journey, we got a setback.
So we're coming off here because road ahead closed. This is not good for our range test.
68 miles left, and
let's find a new route.
Our diversion actually turned out to be very pretty.
But we are doing 24, and in all fairness, that will be good for our range.
That's true. And bad for our boredom.
Yes, and we've now opened the sunroof because it did get a bit sweaty. So to the people in America, this is the English countryside.
Yes.
Look how narrow this is. Even the bike is having to pull right over.
Not enough room for a car and a bike. That's pretty bad. Thank you. I will say though, this is something we get in Britain that others don't. You get the hedgerows, you get the narrow roads, the country lanes. There's pedestrian footpaths everywhere. You're allowed to walk through the fields. I think if you get the weather, Britain is as good as anywhere in the world. Absolutely love it.
It's stunning. It is stunning.
So less than a mile away now from our destination in beautiful Cannock Chase, where we're going to pick up the RX-8 to test for a future episode. And we've still got 59 miles left. So let's say we get there with 58. That's about halfway, actually.
Yeah.
We might make it.
I'm very hopeful. And if we don't, your fault.
Right, so we're pulling up outside where we're going to pick up the RX-8, and I'll drive on the way back.
Yeah, let's do it.
We swapped over. I'm driving us back. We've got 56 miles of range for 59 miles of journey.
Yep.
This is going to be close, actually. I think it was that last bit round the roads, around the sort of 30 mile an hour to pick up the RX-8 that took a bit of the range off.
Well, I think we did a bit of a detour, so we probably added maybe like 6 to 8 miles.
So we're just going to take it easy on the way back, see if we can get back within the range. I think we'll still be okay. Not sure.
It then turned out that our navigator couldn't navigate.
Is that the A38? Yeah. No, that's the right way.
Is it going the right way now? Cool.
God, you really do have to think about it when you're on a range test, don't you?
I really do. It's quite stressful because you're thinking, I really want to give it the beans, but ultimately you need to be doing the speed limit, don't you? Or at least near the speed limit. I mean, on a 60 this isn't too bad, but
yeah,
on at 70 it's game over. You're using too much.
And also it starts creeping into your mind. What do we actually do if we don't get there?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we see 3 miles on the range left and we're nowhere near home. We are going to have to stop, put a little bit of juice in just to get back home.
The amount of abuse I will give you if we don't make it back on this range test is going to be unprecedented.
It's not my fault. It's the car's fault, obviously.
So I will admit, this is a nice car, and we tested it in episode 1 and we did say it was a nice car to be in, but the range is ridiculous.
If your fat ass wasn't in the car, we'd have been fine.
Yeah. Alright, let's not focus on my BMI, let's focus on the terrible range in this Mazda. Your Mazda! 125 miles is not a full range that's acceptable. It's an embarrassment. In a petrol car, if there was 125 miles full range, you'd be talking about a fuel tank of about 15 litres. You wouldn't buy that car. No one would buy that car. You're an idiot.
But this vehicle was never designed to do motorway miles. It's a city vehicle.
And that's the shame, because it's really comfortable on the long drives.
Absolutely.
It's called a GT Sport. It's a Grand Tourer. Yeah. It's nice for long distances. You just can't do them.
No, you're right. I mean, you could probably get a generator to sit in the boot and defeat the object of an EV.
An old diesel-powered one that...
Yeah, absolutely.
That people use to inflate bouncy castles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be quiet and really comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, we should have probably put one in today so that we could have charged it to give us the range to get back home.
Yeah, I think I brought some AA batteries somewhere, actually. Can you just put them into the fuel filler? Is that...
Oh, do you know what? I've not purposely charged my phone, just in case it makes the difference.
Right, so we can't have the music on, we can't have the aircon on, we can't have the windows open, we can't charge our phones. Right, we are now being overtaken by someone towing a caravan because we're having to manage the range.
We're in a 40.
We're not.
We are coming up to a 40. So, we can't go fast anyway.
34 miles of range. How many miles left on the journey?
36. So, in all fairness, I'm going to applaud you. You are doing an absolute stellar job.
Thank you. Better than you did, gunning it at 70 the whole way.
Because I knew you'd like the challenge. So we're about that. We're about 2.5-ish miles down. So
that's a long way to push a heavy car, though. 2.5 miles.
It will be for you. You're driving. It's your responsibility to get us home.
I'm happy to leave the car there.
It's not the attitude I would expect from a friend.
It's exactly the attitude we'd expect from each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're pretty close on our range, what I'm going to do, we're coming on the slip road, I'm going to put it into regen mode. I really feel it pull there,
Behind you.
and it will recharge the battery as I'm coming right up to the roundabout here, because we do need every bit of range we've got. So we're slowing down now, and we don't actually need to use the brake. So if I use this left-hand pedal, we'll see that it puts the charge back in and we're slowing down. no foot on the brake at all, and if we want to coast a bit more, we use the right ones, take it off, and we start rolling again.
By doing that, I reckon you've gained about half a mile. So wherever we got some downhill bits, you don't have to put it on full, you can put it on one below the middle setting, and then that will just trickle feed the charge back in. So we are 4.6 miles from home, and
6 miles of range. We're going to make it.
In all fairness, you did say we will get home.
We'll get home. You have to drive it the right way.
I was a little bit more sceptical, I've got to say. I did think you wouldn't want to do this every time.
I think overall we've done slow driving, we've done country roads, and we've done motorway driving. So we've done all three. And it probably about averages out.
Yeah.
Mile for mile.
I mean, it's probably taken us another 20 minutes longer to get home because we were slightly concerned of the range.
And your poor navigation skills.
And my poor navigation skills. I mean, we did almost go onto the M6 toll. Now,
it's expensive.
It is, and neither of us have cards on us, so therefore it's a bit of an inconvenience.
And you can't really haggle at the toll booth,
no, you
can you?
can't.
We're pulling up onto your road now, and we have made it. Who would have thought?
2 miles of range left, and 2%.
We're back. We made it with 2 miles to spare. It said at the beginning 115 miles of range. We did 113 miles, and there's 2 miles left. So actually, mile for mile, it was exactly what it said it should be.
But it was a bit sweaty. We couldn't use the aircon. We couldn't put the stereo on. We didn't have any entertainment whatsoever. So it was a little bit challenging.
It was. So the car is great. It's got heated seats, aircon, dual climate control, great stereo. We couldn't use any of that. In fact, we couldn't even drive at the speed limit, could we?
We couldn't. 50 miles an hour in a 70 to get home.
Exactly. So, really comfortable. It's called a GT. It's really not. If you're doing the long journeys, you can't go in this car.
No. But if you want a very capable city car, look no further. Mazda is your car.
Hope you enjoyed the video. See you again.